So hi, I'm Andy Moody, and we're here today at Rievaulx Terrace in the North York Moors on a beautiful, beautiful winter's day. Freezing cold. I've got my fingerless gloves on, but my fingers are already feeling it. But we're going to do our best to capture the light that we've got today. I'm going to be painting the Ionic Temple on the terrace. The light is beautifully catching it at the moment, and of course we've got just the end of the autumn colours to work on as well. We've got some wonderful views over the Abbey to the left of us, which we may look at later on. But let's look at the temple first. So I'm just going to map out this picture very quickly with a piece of charcoal. I've got a wonderful piece of watercolour paper here. This is Moulin watercolour, £300, so it's heavy enough to take lots of water without needing to be stretched. I'm just going to very quickly map out the scene. I've got some ArtGraf here, which are wonderful water-soluble graphite, full of very intense pigment. I'm just going to use some of this just to get some colour onto the paper. So just get some water and just spray the paper and make this graphite move. Got a nice big thick brush. Good, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go on to watercolour now. I'm going to use the same brush, just make it clean. Just a very light cerulean blue to indicate the sky. I'm just letting the drips do their thing. The idea is to bring the energy of this underpainting stage into the pastel stage when I get to that. I often find if I just do simple pastel that I can get very tight and very detailed, and doing this kind of mixed media underpainting helps me to avoid that. When we arrived here 20 minutes ago or so, there was a covering of frost on the grass in front of the temple, so I'm going to try and remember that and maybe bring that into the picture later on. It was really beautiful. I'm just going to indicate the temple very quickly with a little bit of yellow. We'll use that as a base for the pastel when we get to it. Sticking with this nice thick brush. I sometimes go to smaller brushes, but this seems to be working at the moment for what we're doing today. Bring in a bit of yellow just to indicate the sunlight falling on the grass here. And we'll make more of that with the pastel. People always say you're Scottish. Should be fine with the cold. I say, well, I'm living in England though, I'm in England. There's a clue there. I am going to leave this now and we're going to go on to the pastel stage. There are russets and pinks in there, which we already have to some extent from the underpainting. Just add to that. And of course the green again is complementary of the reds and the oranges, so it's actually working really nice in that tree. Let's use this green as well over here against the lovely darks that we had with the ArtGraf. One of the things about working on a day like this is that the light is changing all the time, and it's catching leaves and the ground and what have you, and it can be just for a fleeting moment, but one of the beauties of the pastel is that you can capture those moments very quickly, or at least a sense of them. You don't want to be painting 4 or 5 different paintings at the one time, but you definitely want to try and capture these moments when you see them. There's quite a lot of pastel on that now, so I'm just going to give it a quick spray with fixative. That'll create some more tooth, and it'll also darken these dark areas. So just a quick spray. I'll now pick up this pastel, the orange leaves. So using the dark underneath as a foil for these nice light colours. There's yellows in there as well. Really trying to be quite instinctive about it and not too precious about it. And scumbling over the paper to leave the underpainting showing through. You kind of clarify this slope, the edge of the slope here. I'm just indicating now sunlight shining through the trees. Always work back in to the trees. The way I do it, I lay out my sky, put down the trees, come back into the pastel in between the trees, sort of working negatively. Just going to roll this pastel over these trees just to indicate the light, and just rolling it just leaves the pigment on the paper. Just going to intensify that dark and create some more tooth. And get some nice light pastel over the top, both reds and pinks. So we haven't really intensified the light shining on that temple as yet. I quite like it just kind of as it is, but I'm just going to put a little bit more light on it now. I will finish this off or work a little bit more on it back in the studio, I suspect. The trick is not to lose the energy that you created outside in front of the subject. It's so important to maintain that. A few more oranges, and then I think we'll leave this for the moment, and I will work the picture to a completed stage back in the studio. Quite happy with that. Been really lucky today to have such beautiful sunlight. I won't spend too much longer on it. There's always a danger of overworking these things when you take it back to the studio and losing the energy and expression that you created in front of the subject, which is the most important thing. So